Let's get to our ongoing coverage of the devastating wildfires in Los Angeles. At least 10 people we know have now died, and it's all because of at least 6 fires that are continuing to spread across Southern California. Now, officials say they do expect that death toll to go up as they start to look through all of the homes. Have to think it's still very dangerous to get inside some of these areas right now.
Absolutely.
The structures are very fragile. So let's give you a live look now. This is from the Eaton fire. It's burned through thousands of acres. It's destroyed at least 1,000 structures. You don't see any glow right now from the flames at this point, but what you can see is that haze and the smoke that is sitting over the city. More than 800 firefighting personnel with the help of fixed-wing aircraft and helicopters, they're all trying to put these fires out. And this morning, 12 News anchor Troy Hayden is live for us inside. Well, he's actually at the Santa Monica area here where you've been speaking with a lot of people who've been impacted by this.
Yeah, Troy, we've been seeing all of the images, the video, the fire, and then the destruction, but being there, what is it really like?
Yeah, it's very intense, to be honest with you. Good to be with you this morning. We're getting ready to head out to that Eaton fire where you just showed those live pictures. Still 0% containment now. And again, the death toll rising from 7 to 10 overnight. And if it stays at 10, they'd be very fortunate here. We spent the day yesterday in Pacific Palisades. And if you're not familiar with it, it's a beautiful community. It's built right along the shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful downtown, tree-lined streets with beautiful homes. And it's gone. I mean, the grocery store is gone. The bank is gone. And the fact that so many people did not get evacuation notices, the people we talked to, as a matter of fact, none of them got evacuation notices. They looked up and saw the smoke, they saw the flames coming over, and they got themselves out. So let's start with showing you what we saw yesterday. When people say it looks like a bomb went off in Pacific Palisades, you can see what they're talking about here. I have covered a number of urban wildfires over the course of my career, and I don't know if I've ever seen devastation this complete. You can see everything that's not stone or metal has basically disintegrated, been incinerated by the heat of this fire. We walked around and got a look at a bit of the neighborhood earlier today. One thing we do see just outside of Pacific Palisades is this: a long line of cars, worried residents wanting to check on their homes, to get back into the Palisades to see if their homes are still standing, get past this area here. Unfortunately, for most of them, depending on where they live, the news is not going to be good.
The Ralphs is gone, the Gelsons is gone, the library's gone. 2/3 of the town is gone, and every other home has been destroyed.
And maybe the toughest thing you see here, residents who have been able to come back to their homes, and they're sifting through them trying to find anything they can, anything of value that may have survived these fires. One of the big dangers here in this devastated Palisades neighborhood, power lines. You can see this one is just dangling, and it's not just the lines themselves, it's the power poles. We're going to stay back a bit, but if you look closely at the bottom, you can see it's charged. They think possibly because it's so charred down there and burned, it has been weakened, and these poles could topple over. One of the things we heard a lot was there was a lack of water pressure up in this area when the fire was raging, and you can see this looks to be a water softener that's still leaking water, and you have to imagine dozens, maybe hundreds of leaks like this all throughout this neighborhood contributing to that low water pressure. And you can really see the heat of the fire that came through here. Believe it or not, this is a Tesla, or was a Tesla. Anything that's not metal has just been vaporized. Even the rubber on the tires completely gone. All the cloth on the seats. So this fire moved here with ferocity. So, I mean, those are the things, right, that we were looking at. One of the most poignant moments of our reporting last night, we were getting ready to do a live shot for one of our shows, and so I was kind of concentrating on what I was going to say, and all of a sudden I hear these screams. I was like, what is happening? And it was a woman walking up to our location. Now, most of the residents have been kept out. A few of them are able to get back in, and this woman was, and she was saying, my home, I wanted to die here. And now it's gone. It was burned to the ground, and, she was an older woman, so you wonder, how, when you talk about rebuilding, it's one thing to rebuild one house, but how do you rebuild, 10,000 houses? What is that effort going to be? How long is it going to take? Where are these people going to go in the meantime? This is not a 5-month process or a 6-month process. So a lot for Southern California to process here as they go through. So again, we're heading out to the east now to the Eaton fire. There's an Arizona task force there working that fire line, and we're going to try to hook up with them later on today. Back to you guys.
Question: as we look at what's ahead today, I know that winds are just the biggest factor here, and they are expected to be back up, whipping again around that 50 to 60 mile per hour range. How does it feel right now? How's the smoke in the air?
Yeah, the smoke is rough, I'll be honest with you. You see a lot of reporters wearing masks. It's hard for me to report in a mask, but you know, it wasn't as bad as it was maybe 2 days ago. We got very fortunate yesterday with the winds. They were very calm where we were. We were right along the coast all day yesterday. Didn't really feel much wind, but yes, as you said, they are expected to have these gusts again. And if that happens, I mean, with 0% containment,
Yeah.
and you know how LA is, it's not like Phoenix. In Phoenix, you drive past Camelback Mountain, and it's a big, beautiful mountain, but it's, you know, it's mostly rock. There's a couple of shrubs on it here and there. These hillsides in California are covered in brush
Fuel.
and trees, and they're tinder dry. They haven't gotten rain. It's been as long for them, you know, to get rain as it was us. So everything is dry here, and you know, it just takes one cigarette butt. It takes one spark from, you know, a welder or something to touch off these fires. And by the way, one of the fires yesterday that started near Calabasas, you know, made famous by the Kardashians, they've arrested somebody for arson in that. So not only do you have these natural conditions, you got people out here trying to start fires.
Right. I mean, and that's something that we talk a lot about with our own wildfires here in Arizona. A lot of them are human caused, but not all of them. And so at this point, getting to exactly what caused these fires, I mean, that's going to take some time and investigating. And Troy, lastly, I want to ask you, I know where you're staying. You talked a little bit to us about half of that area is filled with evacuees. I mean, what kind of stories are you hearing around the lobby?
Yeah, it was strange because we came in and checked into the hotel, and I looked around, and it's a nice hotel, and I noticed there are a bunch of like people that look, I don't want to say disheveled, but like they've been through it.
Strong,
and so as we were editing one of our stories, a guy next to us says, "Yeah, were you down on this street?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I was down on this street." You know, and they're all just in a bit of shock. And then behind me there was another conversation. "Yeah, I'm getting calls from everybody wondering if I'm okay, and I'm just trying to get through this, you know." And then I walked down another hallway, and there's little kids running around like playing ball in the hallway, and you can tell they're displaced. And again, the thing in my mind is that, I mean, like I said, just think about it. It's one thing to be forced out of your home for, you know, a week and you're able to come back. But if your home is gone, if your neighborhood is gone, if your town is gone, you know, what do? Do you just try to start all over again? Do you try to rebuild that area? So the enormity of that, I think, is still sinking in for a lot of these people.
Enormity, that's the word, because it's an entire town, at least when we're speaking about the Pacific Palisades. Okay, you're heading over to the Eaton fire. We're going to get an update from you in the next little bit. Troy, we cannot thank you enough for your reporting and being over there for us.
Yeah, be safe out there. Again, he's going to be live for us again in our next half hour. We'll continue our coverage of the California wildfires on air and online, though, throughout the day. So you can stream our wildfire coverage right now if you head over to 12 Plus.